throw it away or repair? That's a very valuable question. And I think it's a question that everybody should be asking themselves whenever they have an item that they're thinking, okay, should I just throw this away? Or if I should just repair it, and repairing includes building something from the scratch from it. Now, in this video, I will be talking about things to consider, benefits, or things to think about whenever you, or the types of things for you to think about whenever you're thinking of whether repairing something or just maybe it's not worth it, just throw it away. I'm also going to be using my example about an item that I had and things that I had to think about whether to repair it or to keep it, or if it's worth it, if the amount that I was going to be paying for it was worth it. Remember, and this is not about brands or whatever, you know, this particular shoe or who made it, who did not make it. The goal of this video is to show you what you can make from scratch, what you can build, what you feel, what you deem redeemable. If they're, you know, that, I know it just kind of rhymes, but hope it makes sense. But so here's the point. This shoe, I've used it for so many things. When I lived in a colder climate, when I was in New York, and everybody knows about the hustle and bustle of New York, I used it for everything, in the snow, in the rain, and everything, every single time it held up, like down the subway, everywhere. I wore it all the time. That was what I wore to work every day. And I wore it to wherever place I wanted to wear it to, under, you know, on skirts, under trousers, underpants. Like, it just always was that go-to that, you know, it's just gonna meet the point. It's gonna give you what you're looking for. Now I moved to a warmer climate, and the whole sole, everything just crumbled. So I figured, you know, I've always wanted the shoe to kind of have a different style of sole anyway. So I figured this is an opportunity, since it even crumbled anyway, let me use that as an opportunity to build something new, you know, make it into the kind of heels that I would actually also like as a, you know, different kind of variety. Now, when I took it to the shoemaker, the first thing he told me is that, okay, I don't have this type of boots. And I had to explain, this kind of type of sole. And one of the things I mentioned to him is that, okay, I don't want this kind of sole anymore. I want another kind of sole. Now, by the time we talked about it, you know, what different types and what kind of thing, you know, he can work with based on how the shoe was already constructed in the first place, then we settled, you know, we now had to discuss price. Now, you know, this is always the main part, because you have to, this is what will sometimes make or break the point of whether I should even repair this or not. He told me it was $175. Now, I bought the shoe for $395. Repairing a sole for $175. When you think about it, it actually sounds really expensive. How much would it cost me if I as well just buy another one? Because that's a great question. I like the boots, right? A lot of times you have the item, you like it, right? You like whatever thing that you want to repair. There's a reason why you want to repair it. You want to keep it. You want to still continue using it, just that it now has a fault that you now feel like you need to fix. So in this situation, now it has to be, it was now a matter of, should I keep it? Might as well just buy a new one. Now, before I actually even went into this journey of looking for a shoemaker, because I love the boot so much and I want to still continue using it, there is nothing wrong with every other part of the boot except the sole, I contacted the retailer or the manufacturers of the boots, or the people who actually sell the brand, you know, who sell the boot. And I asked if there's an opportunity for, if they actually repair things, you know, since they have a history of having their products lasting for a long time, do they also give the option of repair? And, you know, we went back and forth, and they said, no, they don't repair no matter what. Now, I, you know, no, they don't repair. But to buy a new one of those boots is now $595. So that, let's just say $600, pretty much, you know, with taxes, shipping, blah, blah, blah. Let's just say $600. Now, $175 to fix the sole versus $600 to buy a new one. And might I mention that right there, a lot of thoughts ran through my mind. I thought about how long I've worn this boot, how every single time, even though it's pure, it's good leather, it's good suede leather, And every single time, even when I go out with it, when it gets wet or it gets dirty, when I brush it, it's actually really back as good as new. So the quality of the materials that they used for it is so good that whether I buy a new one or I continue using it, it still stands. It still stands there are some things they make to stand the test of, to stand, the test of time, lack of a better word. So it's still good. I could still use it. It's just that the sole it's a problem that I need to get fixed. So buy another one, 600, or I might as well just continue using this. And the only way I can continue using this if they fix it for $175. I change the whole sole, and hopefully, the goal that you're actually going to think about now is I hope that it's going to be also very good, the sole that you're going to make for it. Good. So the first thing to think about, how much did you buy the item you want to repair? How much did you buy it? Then the second thing, how much will it cost me if I actually buy another one? Then compare all of that. Compare how much did I buy it? How much would it cost me to repair it? And if I were to buy another one, completely brand new, how much would it cost me? Then you calculate all of that. Think about it, Then you also think about it, even when I repair it, looking at the quality, all the remaining quality of this particular item, do I think it's gonna still hold up for a long period of time? And oftentimes you can tell that this is gonna hold up for a long period of time when you actually look at how you used it and how it behaved when you used it. You see what I'm saying? So there are things that you can think about this on, and sometimes there are some things that it may not be worth it for you to even keep. It may not be worth it for you to build anything from it, depending on how you want it. It's very subjective. You can just throw it away. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and all of those things that I've talked about now, when you consider all of that and when you hear the price, it's up to you. And hopefully it's a custom maker or a craftsman that is okay with negotiation. Now you can negotiate the price. You can ask if you can pay a certain amount of, and both of you can have an agreement on how much it can come up to, based on how much they feel like how lower they can go based on that stated price that they have mentioned to you. Or you can just decide, okay, I'm okay with that price, or I want to go lower. And, if they agree to it, then hey, good deal. So that works out, right? So very good. So those are the things that you have to think about when you are, when you want to repair or when you want to build something back from the scratch. Now, this brings me to another topic on this matter. The reason why people don't repair in the first place. There are so many reasons. One of the reasons is because, is it worth it? As I've mentioned, is it worth it? I might as well just buy a new one. And I think this is something that craftsmen themselves need to consider, because I feel like because of mass production, there's been a lot of things. I mean, a lot of craftsmen don't get as many, they don't get as many customers as much as before. So it's almost like whenever they get customers, whenever there's somebody that wants to build something, it's like everything is priced so highly. And sometimes that can actually be a turnoff for anybody who wants to repair something. And I think that's one of the reasons why many people may even feel like, okay, I might as well just go and make something else. I might as well just go buy something else. So I might as well just go, buy off the rack item that I already know how it looks anyway. I'm already okay with how it looks, and I'm just gonna get it. And I'm okay with whatever I get from it. I'm fine with it. So these are different things. I believe the craftsman, the craftsman world, the craftsmanship world, the artisan world, they have to put this into consideration, because there's a part of the business that is stepping on themselves. Like they're, lack of a better word, shooting each other. They're shooting themselves in the foot, because they're almost making it harder for customers to come to them sometimes. So I think that's one of the things that, craftsmen should also think about. Like I said, this is a journey, and it's also an observation that I'm making from different kind of craftsmen that I've talked to. Another thing too that I think they should consider is being okay for somebody to negotiate. The reason why I mention this is because I have spoken, I remember talking to a particular craftsman. It was actually in the clothing arena. And they were very offended that I tried to negotiate. Now, for different parts of the world, what I've observed, for certain parts of the world, you can actually negotiate and they're fine with it. And maximum of max, the worst case scenario, the craftsman is gonna say, no, I can't go below this, because if I go below this, then I'm not making any profit. And you know what? That's okay, because hey, after all, they should make some profit. You know what I mean? You as a craftsman should make a profit. So if you say, no, I'm not going lower than this because it wouldn't make any sense for me to go lower than this, that's okay. But what I think sometimes I've also seen, and this may have to deal with different regions of the world, but there are some people, there are some craftsmen that if you try to negotiate, they see it as a blow, like they see it as an insult for them. Like, what do you mean? They feel like, no, I'm not going to lower my price. I'm not going to give any discount because that shows that I'm not confident in what I do. Like, that shows that maybe I'm not good at what I do. But if I give you my price and I stand on it, it shows that I'm more confident with. No, I don't think it should be a matter of offense. I don't think that craftsmen should be getting offended when somebody tries to negotiate with them. I really do believe that the more flexible you are, the easier it is for you to get customers. You are the one who knows how much labor you're going to put into it, how many hours you're going to put into it, how many materials you're going to have to use for it. So you know what your benchmark is, where exactly how far you can go, as far as if somebody negotiates based on whatever thing they want, how far you can go with it. And I feel like it's okay. It's very good for you to have that benchmark and communicate it that, no, I can't go below this. And that is okay to the customers. But I don't think it's something that anyone should be getting offended with when somebody tries to negotiate with them. And I've seen that. And that's the reason why this is actually really a topic that I'm talking about. Now, another thing that I believe would make this craftsmanship journey world or this business even more lucrative is that while you're being online, while craftsmen are being online, they should make themselves more visible online. Like, yeah, Instagram is already saturated with all of this. But look for different avenues, newer avenues that who can help market your products or market your labor so that they can, you can get more customers through those avenues, you see. So it's just one of those things that utilize whatever opportunities available. We're now in a global world, and in this global world you have the opportunity to have your customers in different parts of the world. Especially if you're a good craftsman, people will come to you. People are looking for great craftsmen out there, and it doesn't matter where they are. Matter of fact, it took me a while. I've been looking for shoemakers for a long period of time, and I'm still online, even still looking, because sometimes even the person that you find in your location doesn't necessarily mean that's a person who's going to be able to make exactly what you're looking for, And sometimes the people that you see online, you see all the different things that they've made, you see their testimonials, you see, the products that they have on there, and they're like, okay, this person should be able to catch the picture of what I want built here. Whether you're building something completely from the scratch or you're rebuilding something, basically. And rebuilding has to do with when you already have the item and maybe you had a fault and you want to rebuild it into something else. So those are things to consider. And this, like I said, is a relationship. When it comes to customer versus even the craftsman, is a relationship thing, which is completely different from when you just say something off the rack and you just buy it based on what you see. In this situation, is a relationship thing in the sense that you also want to have a good, both people will have to be giving out good vibes. You both have to be giving out good vibes, you know, so that I work with you, you work with me, and we're all good. Matter of fact, I still want to be able to get what I want from you, and I'll pay you, and you'll still get what you want from me. There's nothing wrong with that. Buying or selling, trade by barter, whatever it is, you know, visa vas, or whatever word people call it. But yeah, so I still have, you know, he's still making it, and I'll wait for him to finish it because I would love to actually show the finished product here. I would love to show it because I just went to recently, and but it would take them longer, a little bit, like a couple of weeks for them to complete it. And once completed, I am going to share it on here. So that way, you know, we can see the finished product and what difference it is between what they just made and what it came with, because now it's rebuilt. How do I feel about this whole thing rebuilt? And let's also put into consideration that when it comes to craftsmanship, it deals with their expertise and their level of skills. It's not necessarily expertise. I think it has more to do with skill. You know, because sometimes expertise has to do with how long they've been doing something. Meanwhile, skill is just the ability to actually create something else, the skill that they have. Because sometimes somebody may not have been doing something for years, but the fact that they had the creativity to build something new, and they were able to, you know, think something up, think something new, bring something beautiful out of this thing that could easily have been thrown away. They rebuilt it and made it into something just worth continuing with. Or continuing to use. And either way, whether when it was new and now it was rebuilt, you're still happy with the end result. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. So once again, I hope you've learned something from this. I hope it benefited you. And at the end of it, I am going to, when I have it back, I'm going to make another video and you're going to see it. And hopefully, you know, you're going to be able to see the before. I mean, you wouldn't see the before because the only picture I have is when it was actually broken and I needed the repair. That's, you know, that would be the before. The before and after, when everything was rebuilt, and what difference I experienced, which one I liked better. And, you know, I hope that you guys gained a whole lot from this. And please, once again, in the comments, share what you would like me to talk about. As mentioned, this channel, we're going to be talking about custom made on different levels: shoes, clothes, houses, jewelries, a perfume. Some people actually make their own perfume. That's just beautiful. But yes, so let's go for it. And I hope to see you guys around. Thank you.